right, so this is my week 4 NBA power rankings. Yeah, let's get started. So we're going to do things a little bit differently. Rather than trying to cover individual injuries with teams, we're just having a full layout right here with everybody's injuries. I feel like that should make it go by faster, and I don't have to talk so much about all the different injuries with every single game going on. So first, we got Cam Thomas. So he didn't play much last week. He got injured. He was supposed to be out for 2 weeks. He has 9 days left. Maxi Cleveland's out for 2 weeks and 11 days left right now. Jamal Murray, we learned about his injury last week. We just didn't have a timetable, but now he's going to be out the rest of the month. Joe Harris was out all last week. He's going to be out all this week as well. Mason Plumlee's going to be out for about 4 weeks. Jared Vanderbilt is starting. It's his return to play. He hasn't played at all this season, but he's starting his return to play, so we should see him on the court either sometime late this week or early next week. Tyler Hero is going to be out for 2 weeks. Jay Crowder is going to be out for about 8 weeks. Jordan McLaughlin for the Timberwolves going to be out about 4 weeks. He missed last week, so he only has about 3 weeks left. Larry Nance is going to be out for around 10 to 14 days, so about 2 weeks there. Of course, Kelly Oubre. We heard about him getting hit by a car, so we don't really have a timetable for him, but they said it's likely going to be a while for him. Damian Lee, he has not played yet this season, and he just had meniscus surgery, I believe, so he's going to be out for probably a couple months. They didn't give a timetable on that either. Devin Booker, he should be back this week at some point, maybe not. He may miss one game this week, but he should be back this week. Robert Williams, he was supposed to be only injured for about 2 to 3 months, but after surgery, they're saying it's going to be probably all season long. Scoot Henderson is going to be out for about the next 2 weeks as well. And then DeLon Wright for the Wizards is going to be out for about 4 to 6 weeks. So there was a lot of injuries going on, most of them being short term, which is good. But we do got a couple longer term injuries. But yeah, for number 30 here, we got the Portland Trail Blazers. So they went 0-2 this week. So not a great week for the Trailblazers. Obviously, they're not really one of the best teams in the league. But yeah, this week they lost to the Kings by 3 and to the Lakers by 6. So not a horrible week for them, but they still didn't go 0-2. But I did want to put their stats leaders for the season over here on the side. So we got Jeremy Grant leads him in points, Ayton leads him in rebounds, Brogdon leads him in assists, Ayton leads him in steals. You got Robert Williams was leading them in blocks and field goal percentage, Shaedon Sharp's leading them in free throw percentage, and Matisse Thybulle was leading them in 3-point percentage. Yeah, number 29, we got the Washington Wizards, so they're going to move up one spot because they did go 1-3 this week, so they at least got a win. The Blazers did not. They beat the Hornets by 16, then they lost to the Hornets by 7, lost to the Nets by 8, and then lost to the Raptors by 4. And then, of course, the DeLon Wright injury. But yeah, but I got their stat players over here. I'm not going to talk about every person, every stat category because I'll just take too long. But I do want to note Bilal Coulibaly, the rookie small forward, is averaging shooting 44%-ish from the 3-point line, which is really good for him. Number 28, we got the Detroit Pistons. So they're moving down a few spots after going 0-3 this week. They started off the season 2-2, and they've lost about 7 straight games since then, so not a great look for them. They lost to the Bucks by 2, to the Sixers by 8, to the Bulls by 11. So yeah, not a good week for the Pistons, and for them, they have a rookie. I don't think he's a rookie, second-year player, Jalen Duren, who's playing really solid this year, averaging 10.6 rebounds and 62% from the field, leading their teams. They do have Marvin Bagley, who's shooting 90% from free throw line as a big, which is pretty impressive. They got Alec Burks shooting 50% from 3, which is really impressive. And then rookie guard / forward Ozar Thompson is leading them in blocks with almost 2 blocks a game as a wing, so that's really good for him too. Number 27, you got the Charlotte Hornets. So they went 1-2 this week. They lost to the Wizards by 16. They then beat them by 7, and then they lost to the Knicks by 22. So I got to move it up one spot. Their stat this year, you see, they do have a second-year player, Mark Williams, who's playing really, really good. He's averaging 9.2 rebounds. And then they got another young big and Nick Richards, who is averaging 1.4 blocks and shooting 79% from the field, which is leading the team. So he's doing really solid as well. And then, I was surprised to see here that Terry Rozier is leading their team in scoring and not LaMelo Ball. They were both very close. Number 26 got the Grizzlies. They're going to move up one spot after going 1-2 this week, so they got their second win of the season finally. They lost to the Heat by 6, lost to the Jazz by 6, but then ended up beating the Clippers by 4. And the Clippers have not looked like a really good team with James Harden, which doesn't make too much sense here, but we'll talk more about that later. For the Grizzlies, Desmond Bane is playing really, really good this year, averaging 26.5 points per game. So definitely looking to be on the All-Star trajectory for this season if he keeps that up. Then also they signed Biyombo about a week or two in the season, and he's averaging nearly 10 rebounds a game on 65% shooting. So that's really, really good. And then Jacob Gilyard, who's a rookie this season, I believe, is shooting 45% from three for them. So had a couple bright spots there. The Spurs are ranked 25 here. They went 0-3 in the week. They lost to the Knicks by 21, lost to the Timberwolves by 7, and lost to the Heat by 5. So not a great week for them. But as we see here, Victor Wembanyama is leading them in almost every category, averaging nearly 2.5 blocks per game and 20 points a game. So he's doing really, really solid to start his career off. Number 24, we got the New Orleans Pelicans. They're 0-3 this week. Definitely missing C.J. McCollum, which is understandable, but I thought they would do a little better than they have been. They lost to the Timberwolves by 21, to the Rockets by 3, and to the Mavs by 12. Then if they also have Larry Nance, going to be missing about 2 weeks for them. But for them, you see here, they got Matt Ryan. It's supposed to say Ryan, not Ryan or whatever. Matt Ryan is leading them on three-point percentage with nearly 44% from 3, which is really, really good for them. Yeah, number 23 got the Utah Jazz. They went 1-1 this week. Not a bad week for them, so they moved up a couple spots here. They beat the Grizzlies by 6 and lost to the Pacers by about 16. But they're playing pretty solid. Larry Markkanen is playing really good, building off the last season. You see him averaging about 24 and 8, shooting 44% from 3, leading the team in all those categories. So he's doing really good. I was surprised to see Kelly Olynyk lead the team in steals, averaging 1.1 steals. So that's good for him. Number 22, you got the Chicago Bulls. They went 1-2 this week, still moving up one spot though. For the Bulls this week, they lost to the Suns by 1. They lost to the Bucks by 9, and they beat the Pistons by 11. So the reason they moved up one spot is because they had 2 close losses against 2 really good teams. So I didn't want to fault them too much because of that. But they still are 4-7 on the season, which is not a great record, obviously. But they do have a couple of bright spots. Alex Caruso shooting 59% from the field. That's obviously a really, really good percentage for a guard. And then Javon Carter is shooting 50% for 3 from them. So, obviously did not expect that. But he's doing really, really solid right now. Number 21, you got the Brooklyn Nets. They went 2-1 on the week, moving up just one spot here. They beat the Clippers by 7, lost to the Celtics by 14, beat the Wizards by 1. So pretty solid week for them. But they also have Cam Thomas going to be out for the next 2 weeks as well, and he was leading the team, averaging nearly 27 points per game. So without him, it's going to be, it's going to be difficult for their offense. But they're still not doing bad. Lonnie Walker shooting 46% from 3 for them, so really good there. And yeah, they're not doing bad. They're not in bad shape, sitting here at 5-5. Number 20, you got the Orlando Magic. They dropped 3 spots after going 1-1 on the week. For the Magic, they lost to the Hawks by 1 point this week, and they beat the Bucks by 15. So honestly, not a bad week, but they do drop a couple spots here just because the people right ahead of them are playing are playing really good this week. So, I had to drop them down a little bit. But yeah, for them, they got a whole bunch of young guys on this list, which is really, really good to see. We see the Wagner down here is actually Mo Wagner, not Franz Wagner, but Mo Wagner shoots about 65% from the field and 85% on three, leading the team there. Gary Harris is shooting 50% from three. Definitely did not expect that. And Jonathan Isaac leading the team in blocks per game with 1.4 blocks a game, and he's only playing 13 minutes a game, so that's really, really impressive. Number 19, you got the Los Angeles Clippers, who went 0-3 this week. I believe they have lost 5 games in a row, and they're 0-4 in the James Harden era. So definitely not a good look for them. They lost to the Nets by 7, lost to the Mavs by 18, and lost to the freaking Grizzlies by 4. And they were without Mason Plumlee for about a month. So for the Clippers, that's not exactly a very good look for their roster. I mean, you see here, James Harden is nowhere on their stat leaders list. Russell Westbrook's only averaging 6 assists a game, which you expect him to average more than that. You see Abacha Zubac on here a few times, so that's good for him. And Norman Powell shooting really good from 3. Paul George playing really, really good. You don't see Kawhi on here at all either. His spots are being taken up by Paul George. Number 18, you got the Toronto Raptors. They went 2-1 in the week, bringing them to 5-5 on the year. So not a bad week for them at all. Beat the Mavs by 11, beat the Wizards by 4, and lost to the Celtics by about 23. So not a good game versus the Celtics, but they did win their other 2. And you see Scotty Barnes on this list a lot, averaging nearly 20 points and 10 rebounds a game, which is really good for him, with almost 2 steals and 2 blocks a game. So he's doing really, really good on both sides of the ball. Dennis Schroeder is looking like a really, really good addition for this team, averaging nearly 8 assists a game and shooting 83% from 3, or from free throw, not from 3. That would be insane. They got Malachi Flynn shooting about 46% from 3, leading the team in that category. Number 17, you got the New York Knicks. They went 2-1 on the week, jumping up just 1 spot here. For them, they beat the Spurs by 21, they beat the Hornets by 22, and lost to the Celtics by 16. So they played two not very good teams, and they did take care of business pretty handily there. So that's good for them. On this list, we see Jalen Brunson averaging 22 points per game, which is really good for them. Mitchell Robinson's leading the team in rebounds, blocks, and steals, so that's really good. RJ Barrett shooting 50% from 3, which is definitely unexpected, but good for him. And yeah, number 16, you got the Hawks jumping up, or actually dropping 2 spots after they go 1-1 on the week. For the Hawks, they beat the Magic by 1. They lost to the Heat by 8. So, not a bad week for them, but overall did go 1-1. But on this list, you see Trae Young averaging 24 and 10, which is really, really good for him as well as averaging 1.6 steals per game, which is impressive for Trae Young. Capella's averaging, leading the team in blocks and rebounds, which is really good. Congo leading the team in field goals and free throws. I did not expect a center to be leading them in free throw percentage, but 92% from the line is really, really good. And then DeJounte Murray shooting nearly 42% from 3, so doing really good in that, in the shooting areas for those players. Number 15, you got the Cavs. They're going to drop 10 spots. So the only reason they were number 5 last week is because they've been having, they were only like 3 and 4 last week. But they were having a couple injury issues, and they looked good when they were all playing together. But now that they all played together this week, and they've only been without Isaac Okoro, but they've been with their 4 main stars actually, and they, still did not look very good. So I did drop them a substantial amount because of that. Donovan Mitchell's played really good, almost 30 points per game and 2+ steals a game. So really good for him. Evan Mobley is leading the team in rebounds and blocks. Isaac Okoro was shooting 40% from 3 before he got hurt. So that's also definitely unexpected because he's not exactly known for being a great shooter. Number 14, you got the Warriors dropping 4 spots. They had 0-3 on the week. They were all close games. They only lost to the Nuggets by 3, to the Cavs by 8, and to the Timberwolves by 6. So not any bad games this week, but they still did go 0-3, so I got to drop them a few spots. They got Stephen Curry averaging 30 plus points per game, which is really good. Chris Paul leading them in assists and steals. Draymond Green shooting 45% on three. Definitely not expected. And for blocks, they got three guys tied for the league in blocks with Draymond, Klay Thompson, and Trace Jackson Davis. And Trace Jackson Davis is only playing 8 minutes a game, and he's still tied for the lead in blocks. So that's really good for him. Number 13, they got the Bucks dropping 4 spots. They went 2-2 on the week. Beat the Pistons by 2. Lost to the Pacers by 2. Lost to the Magic by 15. Beat the Bulls, but they did also lose Jay Crowder for about 8 weeks, which is going to hurt them a little bit because he's been pretty solid for them this year. But you got Giannis averaging nearly 30 points and 10 boards, shooting 58% from the field, so doing really good for Giannis. Damian Lillard not even averaging over 5 assists, but he is still leading the team in that category, which is kind of sad. And then, like I said, Jay Crowder was doing really good for them, averaging 51% from three on the year so far. Number 12, we got the Suns. They dropped 5 spots after going 1-2 on the week. They still didn't have Devin Booker this week, but they're only 4-6, so there's only so much I can do about there's only so high I can put them for being the record that they are, even though they've been dealing with injury issues. They beat the Bulls by 1 this week, lost to the Lakers by 3, and lost to the Thunder by 12. But like I said, they do have injuries, but still not playing the best basketball out there. Even with the guys they have out there. Kevin Durant's been doing a hardcore carry job, averaging 30 points per game. Yusuf Nurkic is looking really good, leading in rebounds, assists, and steals. Drew Eubanks is averaging 1.5 blocks a game on like 20 minutes a game, so really good for him. And Grayson Allen is shooting 48% from three, so obviously would like him to keep that up. Number 11, you got the Lakers. They went 2-1 on the week, looked really good in most of the games. They lost to the Rockets by 34 points, so obviously not looking good there. Did end up beating the Suns by 3 and the Blazers by 6 without LeBron James, so good win for them. I did not expect the Lakers to win a game without LeBron, considering how bad they've looked without LeBron on the court this season, but they did actually get a win without him, so that's good. But like I said, LeBron's been playing really good, averaging 25 points per game on about 57% shooting percentage, which is really good. And Christian Wood for them is shooting 40% on threes, which, obviously that's a good thing. And I did not expect Christian Wood to go out there and shoot lights out from three, but here we are. Number 10, you got the Pacers. They jumped up 5 spots. They went 2-1 on the week. Pacers have looked really good on this season. Tyrese Halliburton specifically, but for the Pacers, they beat the Jazz by 16 this week. Beat the Bucks by 2, which is a really good win there, and they did lose to the Sixers by 11. But who doesn't lose to the Sixers? Like I said about Tyrese Halliburton, he's leading the team with points, assists, steals, free throw percentage. All really good numbers there for him. Jalen Smith shooting about 70% from the field. Aaron Neesmith is shooting about 49% from three. So they got guys shooting the ball lights out for them. Number 9 is the Heat. They went 3-0 on the week, 3 spots. I would have liked to move them up a couple more spots, but they are going to be missing Tyler Hero for a few weeks. So that's going to hurt them a little bit because he's been one of their best players on the season. But yeah, for the Heat this week, they beat the Grizzlies by 6, they beat the Hawks by 8, and they beat the Spurs by 5. Not any insane wins, but they did get the win in all of them anyways. And then you see here that Bam Adebayo leads them in points, rebounds, blocks. Jimmy Butler leads them in steals and actually shooting 47% in free throw percentage, which I did not expect to see from Jimmy Butler, but really good shooting to start the year for him. Number 8, you got the Dallas Mavericks. You're going to see a lot of Luka on the stats for this. But for them, they went 2-1 on the week, dropped 4 spots. A lot of the teams ahead of them, went undefeated in the week. So I had to drop them a few spots because of that one loss. But yeah, for the Mavs this week, they lost to the Raptors by 11, beat the Clippers by 18, and beat the Pelicans by 12. So it's still a pretty solid week, but they are going to be also without Maxi Kleber for about 2 weeks, so that's not good for them. But yeah, we see Luka Doncic averaging 32, 8, and 8, leading in those categories. And Kyrie Irving's actually leading in steals. We see rookie Derek Lively leading in blocks. Dwight Powell shooting 77% from three, which is really good. Tim Hardaway has yet to miss a free throw on the year. And Grant Williams is shooting 50% from three. So they got, they got guys playing really, really good on all levels, which does make sense as to why they are 8-2 to start the year. Number 7, you have the Thunder. They went 2-1 on the week. Reasoning for them moving ahead of the Mavericks is mostly because of the Maxi Kleber injury. Because they both had the same record this week, and the Mavs have a better record overall. But that Kleber injury made me drop one extra spot here. But yeah, for the Thunder, they beat the Cavs by 8 this week. They beat the Suns by 12, and they lost to the Kings by 7. So pretty solid week for them. There we see Shea. Averaged nearly 30 points per game again, leading him in points, assists, and steals. We see rookie Chet Holmgren averaging 7.5 and almost 2.5 blocks, leading them in those categories. And then Cason Wallace shooting 64% and 52% from three. So, I don't know where this guy really came from, but he's balling out right now. Number 6 is the Nuggets. They went 1-1 on the week. They dropped him a couple spots again because the teams right ahead of him had most of the teams ahead of him went undefeated this week, so I had to move him down a couple spots. And you see Jokic lead him in almost every category here, averaging nearly 30 points, 14 boards, 8 assists on 60% shooting, so doing really good for him. KCP has not missed a free throw all season and is averaging almost 2 steals a game for him, so that's really good. And then you see Jamal Murray leading the team in three-point percentage, and obviously he's going to be out for a few weeks, so that's going to hurt him there. But yeah, for the Rockets, they started the season 0-3 and have yet won 6 straight games since then. So they're moving up on my rankings a lot. They did this week. They played really, really good. They beat the Lakers by 34, beat the Pelicans by 3, and beat the Nuggets by 3. So that's why I put them right ahead of the Nuggets, because they did just beat them. So I had to, respect that win. We see Alperen Sengun on this list a lot, averaging nearly 20 points and 8 rebounds, as well as tied for the lead in blocks. They don't have a lot of block shots this season, but he is tied for the lead at 0.4. Then you see Dylan Brooks down there, shooting 53% from the 3-point line, which is definitely not like how he was playing last year, but good for him. Number 4, we got the Kings, who also went 3-0 on the week. They're only 5-4, so seeing them at number 4 at only 5-4 to seem right. But they were without De'Aaron Fox for a few games, which is why they were losing a couple of games. But since he came back, they've looked really, really good this week. Obviously went undefeated. They beat the Blazers by 3, beat the Thunder by 7, and beat the Cavs by 12. So pretty good games for them. We see a lot of people on this list in general. We see Fox leading in points, Sabonis leads in rebounds and assists and blocks. And then you see 4 other guys leading in the other categories. So the Kings have been a really deep team this year. With De'Aaron Fox, they're a deadly, deadly team. Number 3, you got the Celtics. They went 3-1 on the week. Got their second loss of the season. I moved them down only 1 spot. So still doing really good sitting at number 3. They lost to the Sixers by 3 points, so you can't really blame them too much there. They beat the Nets by 14. They beat the Raptors by 23, and they beat the Knicks by 16. So really good for them. You see Tatum averaging nearly 28 and 9, also leading in steals. So really good for him. Porzingis leads in blocks and field goal percentage, so good for him. Sam Hauser is shooting nearly 48% from 3 this season, which is, really good in that respect. I did not expect him to get a lot of playing time this year, but with him shooting lights out from 3, he's getting quite a bit of time. Number 2, you got the Timberwolves. They went undefeated this week. I believe they also went undefeated last week, so that's why I'm moving ahead of the Celtics, because they just played really, really good. Anthony Edwards specifically has averaged 28 points, 5 rebounds, or 5 assists, and 1.5 steals a game almost, leading the team in those categories. Gobert's leading in rebounds and blocks. You see Kyle Anderson shooting nearly 60% from the field, and Jaden McDaniels shooting nearly 44% from 3. So they're doing really good offensively, and Rudy Gobert's anchoring them. defensively. And then number one, you got the 76ers. They went 3-0 this week. That's two straight weeks without a loss for the Sixers, which is really good for them. They beat the Celtics by 3, the Pistons by 8, and the Pacers by 11. They do have the Kelly Oubre situation they got to worry about, but I think Embiid and Maxey are going to be able to hold the full count. Embiid's averaging 32 as well and 2 blocks a game. Maxey's averaging 7 assists, shooting 93% from the field, just had a 50-point game. So I don't think they're going to be missing Kelly Oubre too much, especially with the way Nick Batum is playing for them, shooting 67% from the field and 62% from three since he played there. So, if you got a guy shooting like that, they're not going to miss Kelly Oubre too much. But yeah, good week for the Sixers. And then we got our top performers of the week. So we got about 10 guys here as well. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander put up 43 points on 15 of 22 shooting with 7 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block. So doing everything on both ends of the court. Giannis put up 54 points on nearly 80% shooting with 19 for 25 on there with 12 rebounds and 3 assists. So really good game for him as well. Trae Young had 41 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, and 3 steals. So, getting down the defensive end as well with those 3 steals. Mark Williams put up 21 points and 24 boards as a second-year player. Pretty impressive there. Luka put up 44 on 17 and 21 shooting with 6 boards and 6 assists in only 31 minutes. So if he played 36 minutes, he likely would have gotten to a 50-point game. So really good game for him. Tyrese Maxey did put up a 50-point game, shooting 20 of 32, 7-11 from 3 with 7 boards and 5 assists. So really good game there. Nikola Jokic put up a 30-20-10 triple-double with 36 points, 21 boards, and 11 assists. Domantas Sabonis put up a less impressive triple-double, but it's still a triple-double, so it's pretty good game with 17 points, 13 boards, and 13 assists. Cade Cunningham flirted with a 30-point triple-double with 33, 8, and 8. But then you see Tyrese Halliburton down here put up 25 and 17 assists on 9 of 14 shooting. So really good game for him. As well as having a rebound and 2 steals and a block. So doing things on both sides of the floor for him as well. And yeah, that is the video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to come back next week for an updated power rankings list. And let me know if you liked this week's power ranking better than the last one, but I did do some things different.